just so, there you go. Okay, so if we just come to our mat, we're just going to start off in that nice seated position, which we sort of have started off a few sessions in recently. And just think about your buttocks sort of in contact with the mat, your hips aligned above them, working just up through, so your center part of your body, and you're up to your chest and your shoulders, and just checking that your shoulders aren't bunching up towards your ears, so you can just take some time just to relax them. And just think about your legs, if you can, have them alongside each other, so parallel rather than sort of crossed. But if you find that that's quite uncomfortable to have them parallel, then having them crossed is absolutely fine. And then just thinking about that crown of your head, the top of your head, going up towards the ceiling. And yeah, I'm just going to sort of slow down our breath a little bit. We can place our hands, if you want to, you can just hold your middle finger and just place them onto your knees, and just have your eyes closed, or just resting your vision a little bit and just taking some breaths there. So just slowing down your breath. And as you breathe in, just trying to think about filling your belly, taking the air up through your chest, and then just holding it for a couple of seconds, and then just breathing out and seeing if you can just release your belly a little bit further and just sink down through your body. So you're just really taking in some lovely deep breaths there as we start our session. And then on our next in-breath, we're just going to take our arms up and just bring them up alongside our body. So they're just going to raise up above our head. So just bringing our arms up, just working really nice and slowly with the movement. And then bringing them back down as we breathe out. And we'll just do 3 slow breaths like this. Another nice slow breath coming in. And as you take that breath in, just thinking about your body just coming nice and tall, holding it really strong through the middle, and thinking about your navel coming towards your spine as well. So you've got a nice sort of becoming aware of that core and nice and strong through the middle. And then just bring that down. And then we're just going to take our left arm, just bringing that down to the mat. So we're tilting over to one side. And then we're going to take our right arm above our head, just kind of form a C shape. So you're kind of bringing this arm down a little bit, so kind of towards your elbow, and just stretching along the side of your body there. And then coming back up, we're just going to take our arms through and just going along to the other side. So getting that nice C shape. So this arm here towards the mat is kind of going down with the elbow towards the mat, but again, where feels comfortable for you. And we're just going to go across to the other side. So just bringing that hand down and that arm just going across the top. So getting that nice stretch through the side of your body. And then going across to the other side. And then just bringing your arms back through to center. And then we're going to just take our arms and we're going to go over our left knee. Okay, so you can take a breath in. So breathing up through the chest, and then as you breathe out, just coming over that left knee. So bringing your forehead down to where feels comfortable for you as you go down towards the floor. And you might just be sort of up on your hands like this. That's absolutely fine. You might find you can walk yourself down a little bit further. And as we go into some of these stretches, as we breathe in, we kind of bring in the energy. As we breathe out, that's where we find we might go a little bit further, sink a little bit further towards the floor, and trying to keep both of your buttocks onto the mat if you can. . And then we're just walking ourselves back up to center, taking a breath in through the middle, and then going over the right side. So as we release our breath out, we just come down to the right side. And that will feel slightly different on each side because of the way your legs are lined up against each other. And again, just thinking as you breathe out, you might find you can go a little bit further into that stretch. And then just walking your hand back up to center. And we're just going to take a breath in, and this time we're going to fold forward, okay? So we're breathing in, taking our arms above our head, and then we're going to fold forward where it feels comfortable for us. So that nice breath in as we did earlier on. And then this time we're just taking the fold forward towards the floor. And again, where feels comfortable for you as you sink forward towards the floor. So you might find that you're just stretching from the shoulders, that's absolutely fine. Or you can come down towards your elbows and sink your forehead down. And then we're just walking our hands back up to center. And then we're just going to swap our legs. So everything we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. So this is a really nice sort of warm up through one side of the body. And then we're just going to do the same thing, but working through with our legs in the opposite side. And if you had them crossed, then just swap for the crossing or just repeat it. Okay, so we're just going to take that C shape again. So as we did at the start, we're going over to this side. We're going to bring our right hand down with our elbow towards the mat and just taking that nice stretch over the top. So you'll feel that down the left side of your body. And just remembering to breathe as you're in these postures. And we're taking a breath in. As you breathe out, that's when we're going to take our arms over the top. And then taking that right hand over the top and the left elbow towards the mat where it feels comfortable for you. Remembering your breath. So your next breath in, taking that nice breath in. And then as you breathe out, you're just coming over the top and then breathing down. That nice side bend. And then going back over to the other side. And then back up to center. Fantastic. And then we're just going to do the same stretches. So we'll start on this side. So take that breath in. And then as you breathe out, you're going over your right knee and just seeing where it feels comfortable for you this evening. And then just slowly walking your hands back up to center. And then just resetting. I mean, when I say go with the breath, it's kind of resetting where when you breathe in, then you take the breath in and then you go out. But it doesn't matter. I'm not checking that you're breathing at the right time. It just kind of helps to get used to some of that breath work. So taking a breath in, sitting nice and tall. And then as you breathe out, you're going over that left knee. And then just walking yourself back up to center. And then we're going to take that lovely breath in and we're going to fold forward this time. And this time, as you fold forward, again, try and think about bringing your navel towards your spine. So you're not kind of breathing in and holding your breath, but you're sort of basically lining your core up. So you're kind of getting that nice core strength as we do some of these exercises. So again, bringing your arms up above your head and breath in. And then this time, as we breathe out, we're folding forward and just thinking about that core being nice and strong and the navel towards the spine. And again, as you breathe out, that's when you might find you can go a little bit further towards the floor or stretching down a little bit further in this position. And then just walking your hands back up to center to where we started. Well done. So we're going to just work on a little twist. So I'm hoping, because you've been doing this a few weeks now, I'm hoping that you're going to be okay with this, but I'll give you options if if it feels uncomfortable. So keeping your legs, so lifting up your right leg, you're going to bring your left leg sort of underneath, okay? So your left leg is coming underneath, so your foot is alongside your buttocks, okay? And then your right leg is just sort of crossing over the top. So then your buttocks are down onto the mat, and then this right leg is kind of stacked on top. Does that feel okay? If it doesn't, you can keep this right leg you can have it sort of bent in front of you like that, because we're going to do a rotation, you see. So you can have this left leg underneath just alongside your buttock and the right leg just stacked up. But if you can get it over the top, and ideally sort of folded on top would be great, but it's kind of how that feels for you. I'm just going to come and have a little check that no one's injuring themselves. Becky's in black, so I can't see. And Jamie, you're going for the half fold there. Cool. Okay, fantastic. So essentially, we're going for that left leg underneath, right leg kind of stacked where it feels comfortable for you. So if you've got that half fold, that's absolutely fine. And then essentially you've got your right leg. So if you've got your right leg on top or bent, you're going to take your left arm and hook it over that top knee. Okay, so whichever knee you've got up higher, so I'll just try and come round so you can see a bit of an angle there. So you've got that right arm hooked over, and sorry, the left arm hooked over, and then your right arm is going behind you, and you're going to look over your right shoulder. So let me just come round so you can see it this way round. So this foot is by my buttock, this foot is sort of stacked on top, left arm hooked over, right arm behind me, and then I'm just taking that twist there. So you just get, yeah, perfect. So what you want to be doing is having your back nice and straight, crown up towards the ceiling, and just trying to go where feels, no overstretching, just going where feels comfortable with you as you look over towards that shoulder. So if you want to take the kind of the stacked version, you can bring this foot on top, so your knee on top, and then you're just, rather than the hooking, you're just kind of holding onto that top knee. And then coming round towards the front, because that's quite a deep twist. Keeping those legs as they are, we're just swapping our arms over at this point, okay? I'm just going to shift back a little bit. So we're just keeping our arms, our legs as they are, but this time our right arm is going over our right knee. So the right knee is on the top, and we're looking over our left shoulder, okay? So we're going the opposite direction. We're getting that nice twist through the body. And then coming back up to sort of face the front of you, okay? And then we've got, as I said, we always have to swap. So we just need to bring the right leg underneath and the left leg over the top, okay? So I'm just trying to do it so that you can see me, okay? So this time I've got my right leg underneath and my left leg folded on or bent on top, okay? So again, if that's kind of adjusting that top leg, how feels comfortable for you. Okay, and then to begin with, we're going to take the opposite arm. So the left leg is on the top, the opposite arm is just going to hook over, and we're going over that left shoulder. Getting that nice twist there. remembering to be nice and tall through the back, through your spine, crown of your head going up towards the ceiling, taking that nice rotation. And then just coming around to face the front again, just swap, keeping the legs as they are, but just swapping that arm over. So then it's the same arm as the arm, the leg that's bent on the top. So the left leg, left arm just takes that fold. And then we're looking over that right shoulder. Fantastic. Excellent. Well done. So they're really nice sort of gentle, well, they're quite deep twists, which are really good for any sort of tension, any indigestion, any sort of releasing toxins and things like that. So really good for sort of detoxification. So the next one that we're going to do, and then we're going to do a couple of flows, is the pigeon pose. So I think we've done the pigeon a few times in class on a Sunday, but it just brings us quite nicely because whilst we're in these seated postures. So have your legs in front of you, kind of a little bit further apart like this. And then you're just going to take them down. So they kind of, they're in almost like a W. And then you take them down alongside you. Okay, so they're going from the W down. Okay, and then you're going to take your left leg, so the one that essentially feels like it's behind you, and that's going to go straight. And then the one that's near the short end of your mat, that goes sort of not parallel with the short end of the mat, but kind of like it almost is going parallel, and this one is going long. Okay, so this one then goes, the toes go flat onto the mat, and you lift your hips up, so you're kind of sitting up. So you're kind of going up onto your sort of onto your hips, I suppose. So you're kind of then sitting above that front leg slightly. Okay, so it's a really deep, it's known as a hip opener. It's a really deep stretch through the front of the hip. Okay, if you've not done this before, it's quite, just take it gently. Okay, if you have quite a lot of restriction in the hips, just be really careful. But hip openers are really kind of common in yoga. They're really good for making your hips stronger and more movability in your hips. So this is kind of a classic pose. It's known as a pigeon. Some people absolutely love it, and once they get into this position, you can come down onto your elbows. You can take your head down and kind of take some breaths down there. You can push up onto your arms, and just take a really nice stretch there, and you're really onto the front of that front leg. And just really adjusting it how it feels right for you. I'm just going to come and have another look on the camera. So checking no one's got any injuries. Excellent. Yeah, fantastic. Quite a tricky pose to describe on Zoom. So I'm hoping that you're all good and no one's getting any injuries there. So flat foot, leg at the front flat. And then if you want to come down onto your elbows, you can do, and you can just really sort of stack your hands and just taking a couple of breaths there. And then we're just going to come back up. Should have said as well, when you're at home, you've got the luxury, if you've got cushions around, grab one, make yourself comfortable because you're in the luxury of your home. So as you can see, I'm sort of keeping my legs in this position because we're going to just swish round along the mat to go the other side. Okay, so I've come out of the pigeon from this end, bringing my legs into that sort of W through the middle, and then taking this leg, so this one goes at the short end of my mat, and this one goes along the mat. I mean, as I say, this leg here, it doesn't need to be directly parallel with the top of the mat, but that's kind of, I suppose, the way you kind of get yourself into that position. So you think about that one coming towards the top end of the mat, this one going nice and straight and flat, and then hooking yourself onto your hips, and then really just adjusting yourself to a point where you feel that the hip here is being opened, your core, your chest is nice and strong, and you can come up above this foot. You can adjust this one as you get into the position, come down onto your elbows. It's really just kind of having a play with it to how feels comfortable for you this evening. And as I say, if you want to kind of stretch it through up high, you can, or if you want to just take yourself down, bringing your forehead down to your hands or your palms and just breathing through there. And then just coming back through our elbows, so pushing ourselves back up through to the center. So just bringing our legs back through, bringing them in front of you, and just giving them a little sort of wobble and a massage, and just checking you're all okay there. And we're going to come up and we're going to do a sun salutation, and then just add in a couple of sort of extras to that, because I don't think we've done a sun salutation before, obviously in the Zoom class, and they're quite a nice little flow. So let me just bring my mat so you can see me okay. So you're going to come to the top end of your mat. So hopefully, sorry, I'm cutting my head out a little bit. I can't get any further away from the camera. So we're going to come to the top end of our mat. And I'll just talk you through every bit that we do. You just need to make sure that you can take your arms up nice and tall above your head, and that you can obviously stretch yourself along your mat. Okay, so to begin with, we're just taking our hands in front of us, and we're taking a nice big breath in, and our arms above our head into a prayer position above our head. And if you want to, you can just take a little bend back, and then you're going to take a bend forward, and you're going forward into a forward fold. Okay, if you need to soften your knees here, that's absolutely fine. Or if you're okay through the hamstrings, you can have your legs nice and straight, and you're just coming down towards the floor. But if you need to soften your knees, that's absolutely fine at this point. And then we're going to take a step back into a long lunge with our right leg. So our right leg goes nice and long. We've got that nice stretch of that back leg. And then we're taking our left leg alongside, and we go into a plank. So I'm just going to talk you through all of these flow nice and slowly. So we go into the plank, and then we bring our knees down. We flip our toes, so our toes go flat onto the mat. And then this is the bit that is a little bit strange. So we bring our knees down, we bring our chest and our chin, so our hips stay off the mat, okay? So I'll just show you. So we've got our knees down, we bring our chest and our chin down, and then we push through to, you can stay in a baby cobra like this, or push up to a full cobra, however kind of feels comfortable. I'm going to stay in a baby cobra because I'm talking it through and I don't want anyone to overstretch themselves. So we get into that nice baby cobra with our hands underneath our elbows, and then we're going to push through the other way. So we're coming through to our tabletop, which is our all four position. So that gives us a nice stability in our knees. And then you'll see my toes are getting ready to flip over, because we're going to go up to downward dog, which we've done before. We haven't done tonight in our warm-up, but we're familiar with it. We've got that nice V shape, pushing our hips up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring our left leg through, so we come back to that long lunge where we started. So our left leg is alongside our right leg. Check our knees over at our ankles. We've got that nice support there. And then our right leg comes alongside, or hip distance apart, alongside our left leg. So we're back in that forward fold. And then just slowly curl out of the forward fold and just come back to where we started. Fantastic. So we always have to do it on both sides. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Is everyone okay with that? Thumbs up. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we're just starting off the top of the mat again, and this time we go back with our left leg. Okay, so it'll be my leg nearest the camera. But first of all, we take that big breath in, arms up above our head, hands together, and then we take the little dip back and then the dive forward into that forward fold. So just taking a couple of breaths there. You can have your knees soft if you need to. And then we take our left leg back into the long lunge. Our hands are down alongside our right leg back, hold the plank nice and strong. And then we're going to bring the knees, flip our toes so they're flat. We hold our elbows in and our chest and chin goes down. This is called a chaturanga. And then we push forward. We can just let our hips go down into that little baby cobra, taking our sort of raising our head off the floor. Just careful you don't stretch your neck through. And then we push the floor, go to our all fours into our tabletop, flipping our toes all the way through into the downward dog. And then we bring our right leg through, back into that long lunge. Left leg, forward fold. And then just gently curling out of that. Back to where we started. Fantastic. Right, we're going to do it again. I'm going to just add in a couple of other little extra tweaks as we go through, but nothing that is going to be anything too stressful for you. Okay, so just as long as you can hear me, we'll keep going. Okay, so we're taking the arms up above our head into the prayer position, little dip back, and then the dive forward, down to the mat, into the forward fold, right leg back, into the long lunge, into the plank. Before we go to the chaturanga, I'm just going to challenge your core a little bit. So you're going to take your right leg and just hover your right leg, bring that down, hover left leg, bring that down, then bring our knees, flatten our toes, chest and chin, and push through to the, let your hips go down, just have that little cobra, little tiny breather there. Before we push through, back to the tabletop, through to the downward dog. And then before we go back through, we're going to go up to what we call a three-legged dog. So we're just going to raise our left leg up. So we're in a three-legged dog there. And then we bring that through to the long lunge. So then we have our knee over our ankle. And obviously if you need to lift that through, that's absolutely fine to get to that position. Fantastic. And then we bring our right leg. And we're in that forward fold. And then we just slowly out of that position, back to where we started. Fantastic. So we're going to keep going, so we've got to do it on the opposite side. So that was right leg back, so we now need to make sure we've got left leg back. So breath in, hands together above our head, little dip back, and then breathing out, going to our forward fold, and just bringing ourselves, our heads down, and we take our left leg back into the long lunge, and then right leg back, hold that plank. But remember, we're going to just lift our legs. We're going to go right leg, so into the three-legged plank. Bring that down, left leg. Bring that down. Bring our knees down, flip our toes, chest, chin, and then letting our hips go down. And just get that nice little baby cobra there. And then pushing through the knees back to the tabletop. Keep going, flipping the toes, going up to the downward dog. Just gathering ourselves there. This time we take our right leg, so keeping the right leg nice and straight, just floating that up. And then that comes through to the long lunge. Bringing that left leg alongside. And this is our last one. So we're just going to bring our hands together. I'm just going to come around so you can see me. So we're just going to bring our hands together and we're holding onto our elbows. So it's like a rag doll. So we're just letting our head fall. We're just holding onto our elbows and just taking some breaths here. Relaxing into that sort of forward fold, letting the blood rush a little bit. And then just releasing your hands, softening your knees, just slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, just coming out of that forward fold position to standing. Well done, guys. So we did a really nice sort of sun salutation there, which is really, it's kind of like classic yoga pose. If you do any kind of yoga, often that's done as part of a warm-up. Obviously you're probably feeling quite warm now, but it's a really good all over sort of workout. And the other ones that we've done quite a few times in the Sunday classes, and I think we've done on the Zoom calls, which are quite nice that you can do flows, are the warriors, and they're really good for your thigh muscles and core muscles and shoulders. So we'll just do a couple of flows with that as well. So again, we'll come to the top end of our mat, and let's see how we can do this. So yes, we're going to come from a lunge and we're going to go up to a warrior. So we're going to do the same thing that we just started with. So we're standing up nice and tall, bringing our arms up together into the prayer position. And then we're doing that forward fold again. You can soften your knees, and you're taking your left leg back, so your right leg stays into that sort of long lunge position. And this time we're going to just take our hands off and just placing them onto our knee. Okay, so we're coming into sort of preparation for our warrior one. And then we just bring our hands above our shoulders. So we go nice and strong through our core, making sure our shoulders aren't bunching up towards our ears. So get that really nice strong hands towards the ceiling. This is known as warrior one. We're then going to rotate our back foot so that our toes are facing the long end of the mat. Okay, so this knee stays bent and the toes face the long end of the mat, and our arms naturally they can't really stay like that, so they come like this, and this is known as warrior two. Okay, so this knee goes over your ankle. Make sure that it's not kind of going too far forward or kind of staying back or flailing inwards or outwards. Just check it's kind of stacked over the ankle, and then your arms become parallel with the floor, and you look forward to that front arm, and you get that really nice strength through the front part of your body, but then think about the back part, your back hand being pulled behind you, and that makes it really strong posture. So this is warrior two, and then we can tilt backwards and we look at our palm underneath, and that's known as a sun warrior. So we look under that palm, and then we're going to take this to a side angle. So we're keeping this knee bent, we just lean on this here. So we're just leaning on there, and then we're just taking a nice stretch through there. Okay, so that just complements it. And then we're going to take this arm, it's coming down to the floor again, rotating that back foot, and you'll see that we end up back where we started in that nice long lunge position. Okay, so we will just take a step back to that forward fold, and then just slowly bringing ourselves back up to standing. Fantastic. So I'm going to just go up to the other end of my mat so that you can see me, and we'll do it on the other side, okay? Because otherwise I'll be backwards. So we'll just do the same thing, but from, obviously you can do it whichever way you want, but just so you can see me, I'm just doing it from this side. Okay, so we're just going to do the same thing. So feet sort of hip distance apart, taking a breath in, arms up, nice and tall. We'll just take that little forward fold down. And this time we take our left leg back into that long lunge position. And then we bring our hands onto our knee just to kind of give us that support. Little cat coming in. And then we swish those arms up. So we're going into that warrior one position. Okay, so our arms are going nice and strong above our shoulders. Be really strong through our shoulders, through our core, through our buttocks, and through that back leg. And then the back leg then is going to rotate, so the toes are facing the long side of your mat. Switch this way. So the toes are facing the long side of the mat. Still got my sides wrong, haven't I? So into that warrior two. Hold on, I'm just going to switch around so I'm facing, I've done the right side. And just gently bring that warrior two. Leg, whichever leg, lifting it with your hand, just coming up to centre. Feel unbalanced if you haven't kind of supported it, and just letting that one go long. And then we're just going to rotate the other leg. So along that back leg, and just again supporting it as it comes down, not just kind of flopping it open, and just allowing that leg going onto that side angle, so leaning onto your knee, and then doing that really nice straight stretch through the whole of your body. That's a really nice complementary stretch there. And then coming back through, we're just going to bring that arm down. So we're into that long lunge position again, where we started. Bringing that leg into the forward fold. And then just bringing that leg, so just lifting it up again. And then just allowing both legs to go long. And then just slowly, you can just sink, and obviously again, as I mentioned, as you're at home, you can come back, get yourself a cushion, get yourself a pair of socks, or anything you need to make yourself feel comfortable. And how just allowing yourself just to sink into the mat. Grab a drink or anything. And just really taking those breaths. Breathing in, holding the breath at the top if that feels right for you. And then as you breathe out, just sink a little bit further into the mat. To finish with, again, we've done this a little bit in class, but we haven't done it on the Zoom calls. And it's a really nice sort of relaxation or preparation for relaxation. So we're going to come back into seated, and we're going to do what is called alternate nostril breathing. Okay, so this is really good. So in yoga, there's obviously lots of the stretches and all those sort of movements, but a lot of it is based in sort of breathing techniques. It's known as pranayama, and obviously they tie in with meditation and things like that. I'm not obviously going to do any meditation with you, but alternate nostril breathing is really good for if you have any kind of elements of stress and for calming. So what you're going to do is take your ring finger and your thumb, okay, so your ring finger and your thumb, and you're placing your thumb alongside your right nostril, okay, so it's blocking your right nostril. And then you're breathing in through your left nostril, so you're taking that breath in, and then when you've got that breath in, you block it, the left nostril, with that ring finger, and then you release your thumb on the other side. So that releases the air out. So then when you breathe out, you're breathing out of the one that you just opened. So then you breathe out. And then you breathe in through the right. Releasing it into the mat. Block it. And then just go with that. And then breathe out through the left. And then we'll rotate. It's really hard to describe and do at the same time. So hopefully you're getting that pattern. So then you're taking that breath in through the left. And then just slowly we're going to come over onto the right side of our body. Blocking it. Keeping your eyes closed. And then breathing out through the right. And come around to face the front. So I'll just try and let you have a go at that, whilst I'll just try and work through it at the same time. And then we're just bringing our hands, we can bring them above our head into a nice prayer position. Get that nice full stretch. And then bringing them down to our heart center. And say namaste, or well done. So again, as we did at the start when we were
Well
doing
done,
the breathing, you're
everybody.
sitting up nice and tall. You're being aware of the breath coming in and out of your belly
You can
and
feel
obviously through your nostrils.
You can feel
So as you breathe out, you're just letting that belly sort of sink. And then breathing in, sort of bringing it all in, and then so you could just carry on doing that. But when I was sort of looking this up, it's really good. There's a lot of science behind it now. Obviously, it's been done in yoga for years. There's a lot of science behind it now to show that it's really good to relieve anxiety, lower blood pressure, improve cognitive functioning. So it's kind of like a lot of yoga is kind of now being supported by the science, which is why I really like doing it. But I just love that alternate nostril breathing because you kind of have to really think about it, and it's really good for clearing all those passages as well, and obviously those other things that I mentioned. I think when I mentioned it in class, often I'm not too bad at the moment, but sometimes when I'm quite stressed, I get quite blocked up. And if I breathe with that method before I get too blocked up, it can really help relieve the stress. So I don't know if I'm driving or if I wake up in the night, sometimes I do that, and it actually really helps me kind of clear before I get too stressed. So it's something to maybe consider and try if you ever find that you're stressed. Okay, so we are pretty much at the end of our session. So also doing that breathing is really good to do towards the end of a yoga session because it helps slower the nervous system and just helps you sort of settle down for your relaxation as well. So we're just come down to our mat. We'll just do a couple of little kind of stretches as we come down. And it's really nice. You can just kind of lower yourself down, holding onto your core as you just take yourself down to your mat. And just keeping your knees bent there. We'll just take our legs, we'll just take one leg long and we'll just allow the other leg, it doesn't matter which one, just allowing that to open. So you're like the tree pose that we've done standing before in other sessions. This is again, is just kind of helping with that hip opening that we did with the pigeon pose, but obviously you're nice and supported on the mat and you can just take that time. Just again, we're just getting ourselves ready just to take a few moments to relax fully.